Hey there, folks. Hopefully I reach a new audience with this one, but let's talk about, is obstructive sleep apnea a scam? I'm going to go with the premise of no. Reason being, I am a registered polysomnographic technologist, otherwise known as a sleep tech. I'm the dude that does all the sleep studies. And I recently had an interaction with one of my son's teachers at school. He asked me what field of work I am in. I said sleep disorders, and he goes, sleep apnea? I said, yes. And he goes, that's a scam. So I did a real life trolling and told him that the California educational system is also a scam, and he lost his ever loving mind. So I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit in my feelings right now. So I came onto my channel, decided to look up scam in my chat box and see what came up. And lo and behold, tons of stuff in here. So I think it's time we hit the old scam question again. First of all, we have to establish sleep apnea is a scam. People mean different things by that. Sometimes they actually mean the fact that you stop breathing at night is a scam. That's ridiculous. But let's go ahead and check that one out really, really quick. Okay, this is from my home sleep study. Now I have a website. It's beautiful. Let's go ahead and pimp that for a minute. If you ever need a home sleep study, we do these studies. They're fantastic. They're phenomenal. That's me. I'm laying there with my stuff on. It's great. Okay, I don't doubt sleep apnea is real, but I have it. Let's take a look. This is from my home sleep study. This is a dude, just got this back. So we have all these channels over here. If we're looking at the E1, M2, this is your left eye. Then we have right eye. This one here in the center, that's your chin. The F1s, these are their brain activity. So I can tell if you're awake or asleep. These actually can go bye-bye. But then we have leg electrodes. We have snoring. This one, the flow, that's the important one. That's breathing. So in, out of breathing. We have some belts to see if you're even trying to breathe. We have your heart rate, and then we have blood oxygen measurement. So this person's awake right here. So let's just go through. This is definitely asleep. Without question, asleep. And you can see that they're snoring. Hey, anyone that uses Oscar, open source CPAP analysis reporter, if you don't know what that is, it's Oscar. You can get the tracings. Basically this flow rate right here that we're seeing, all of these up here, let's make it larger so it fits. That is all the breathing. If we can make that really tight, you see how it looks just like that? Whenever you have this look where it comes up and flattens out, or it's flat and then pops up, that's a snore. There's going to be a snore there like every time. Anyway, I digress. So let's look at this breathing and see if we can find some sleep apnea in here. Now I've already kind of looked ahead, so I kind of know where these are. But right here, look at this. Look at this. I'm going to go ahead and expand this to 2 minutes. So the person is breathing. They're breathing well. They're asleep. You can tell that because it's slow. And then we get over here, and lo and behold, the breathing gets much, much lower. Massive snort. You can see their EEG, their brain activity, gets really fast and messy. Their blood oxygen saturation drops down. Let's go ahead and scale that so we can actually see a little better. So they go from 94% down to 90%. So they're waking up here. They happen to be in REM sleep. Doesn't really matter, but they're in REM sleep. Their airway is collapsing. So it's not exactly obstructive sleep apnea because it's not collapsing all the way, but it's the same thing as an obstructive sleep apnea. Airways collapsing, causing them to wake up, blood oxygen desaturation, and then this person rinse and repeat all night long. Does it again here, does it again here, does it again here. This guy is doing it literally all night long. And I have not scored this one yet, so they're not going to be happy, but it is what it is. I got to call it like I see it. So as you can see, that's exceptionally why I'm passionate about it, is it's very taxing on the heart. So you have these periods where they're waking up and the rhythm gets a lot faster, and you also have your oxygen levels are super low, and so people tend to have arrhythmias. This person, I don't see any, but that's something that you get a lot with obstructive events. So let's see if there's any other stages in here that are interesting. Some people like to see delta sleep. Do we really care? We just wanted to establish obstructive sleep apnea, right? Okay, so sleep apnea is real. People stop breathing at night, causes them to wake up, causes you to feel tired and feel like crap in the morning. Okay, what are you going to do about it? CPAP is the #1 line of defense. It is like the gold standard. Now, you can hear people argue about, oh, well, obstructive sleep apnea or CPAP is a treatment is like everyone quits. It doesn't work really well. Well, I use CPAP it myself, and a ton of my clients that use my services at AXG Sleep Diagnostics, believe that it works once we resolve some very simple problems to fix. But let's look at this. I don't doubt that sleep apnea is real. I have it, but the people who sell the equipment and some supplies are nothing short of scammers. They don't give a crap about anything but soaking your insurance company for as much money as possible the day you're eligible for coverage on supplies, whether you need them or not. Every 3 months they start calling, not interested in anything but money. I don't even kind of disagree with this statement at all. So let's look at insurance as a whole. I personally think insurance is a scam. Inevitably, you're paying more in premiums than you're getting back. It's just, that's the way it's designed. You're not going to win. The house always wins. And guess what? You ain't the house. So for me, I very much would love a system, and this is getting probably political, a system where you just simply pay cash for all of your services, and obviously for hospital stays, catastrophic things, insurance for that. But if you're paying out of pocket for things such as masks and supplies when you need them, you can save a whole lot more. Now, let me discredit myself just a little bit here. So I know, stay with me. This seems very scammy. If you need masks, machines, accessories, you can come to cpapsupplies.com. You can buy them out of pocket when you want them, when you need them. And guess what? Let's look at what old Grandpa Lanky here is going to do for you. We're going to add these to your cart. We're going to view our cart. We're going to go ahead and edit our cart. And we're going to do Lanky Spring, and watch this. And that 109 becomes 81.75. Is that a scam? I say no. So the scam of this whole thing is resupplies when you don't need them. If you're buying them on your own, you're saving money. You're not being scammed. You're saying, hey, I want this. I don't want this. And furthermore, if you're like, you know what? That mask really didn't fit for me. I tried a new mask. They have a 30-day mask guarantee. So if the mask doesn't fit, you can return it, get a different one that does fit, or a different style of mask that you do like. So please check out the sponsor of this video, cpapsupplies.com. Well, that seemed a little scammy. So let's look at I'm Not Mike. He says, oh, so all the people that would be collecting money from this scam assure me that it's not a scam. That's me. Well, he's very sarcastic here, which I would be too. I totally appreciate the sarcasm. Well, I'm glad it's settled. Thank God I ran into this video telling me that the people that profit on the whole thing assure me that it's not a scam. That's me. I fully cop to that. Sleep apnea, definitely not a scam. The need for CPAP, bilevel, or ASV, I would say, is also not a scam. The people that sell them and the resupplies on them, very often, I wouldn't say a scam, but I would say that it's certainly been, it's favorable. It's very favorable, and you have to get into like Medicare. So someone somewhere lobbied Medicare that, hey, we need to have these mask replacements on a 2-month schedule. That is way too fast. You do not need masks, cushions, or supplies that fast. You have to ask yourself, why is it that Medicare and pretty much every other insurance company in the US will replace masks at a much faster rate than, say, Australia or Europe, who are more like 6 months to a year for the same mask? It's not like Americans are rougher on their masks than Australians. I think it's pretty fair to say that Australians have tougher skin, leathery, tough, calloused faces that should be much more, I can't even say it with a straight face. There's no way they should be on different schedules. That's my point. So I wouldn't say that it's a scam. I say that they are certainly taking advantage of Medicare rules and guidelines. So if you have a problem with it, I would say I would look more to Medicare. And again, those are our tax, not again, I haven't said it yet. Those are our tax dollars. So our tax dollars are basically being wasted on resupply that is way too frequent than it should be. So yes, I would say that's a scam. Has really nothing to do with sleep apnea though. So let's get back to this. All the people who's making money on the scam are telling me that's not a scam. So it's not a scam, but I am saying the resupply schedule is definitely a scam. I want you to consider this also. Is it a scam because I work in the field? I worked in this field for 25 years. I've seen obstructive sleep apnea all the time. I work with people. I improve their lives. I know that sounds like very cheesy and patting myself on the back, but I see it work. And so I'm very passionate about it. 25 years, I'm either passionate about it or I'm really, really making a lot of money. I don't make a ton of money. I do fine. But you could also say, I'm just passionate about it because I'm in it. I personally use it myself, but I see that it works. So I'm very passionate about it. If you go into a hamburger place and they say, yes, our burgers are the best, is it because they just simply work there? Or is it because they think their burgers are really good and they're passionate about it? For sure, it could be that. Now, that's not to say that some people aren't kind of scammy, but I think when people work in a field and they're passionate about it, yeah, it's natural. You should probably be look at it with a little bit of a skeptical eye. But I think me working in the field for 25 years and putting out all these videos for free, and trust me, in the time I've worked in this field, I have not made a lot of money. If you look at YouTube, I think it comes out to about $5,000 a year for really a whole lot of time that I've put into it. So I'm not getting rich off this, if that makes you feel better. Okay, one of the biggest complaints is the expense of the test. That goes back to insurance. So yeah, if you go through insurance, they're going to bilk the hell out of you. So if you have, this is where it is a scam. Well, it's an insurance scam, I would say, more than anything. Insurance is going to pay off as little as they can. It's a business for them too. So if you have a PPO, you're getting very high premiums. You're going to pay a lot of money for those tests, but you also have a super high deductible as the patient. So you're paying a ton of money. You don't have to. You could legitimately go to my services, cash payment only, $1,200 for this. Literally they use my units that I use in sleep labs. So it is sleep lab quality equipment in the comfort of your own home for a fraction of the price. I know that looks like a self-serving advertisement, and it probably is, but you don't have to pay that much. So yeah, your niece here, sir, got completely bilked. Absolutely. But you know what? People who are on Medicare, you know what we get reimbursed in a sleep lab? Well, last time I was there, which has been a while, like $700. So her paying $5,000 for a study is whacked. That might be what they billed. I highly doubt that's what they actually reimbursed. But hey, I don't know. So here's another thing. It's not like we live in a day and age where everyone has a powerful computer. This guy's so sarcastic. It is my language. I understand that. It's not like we don't live in an age where everyone doesn't have a powerful computer in their pocket. You can just download the app, cheap piece of hardware that would track all the information about their sleep for practically from the comfort of their own bed. Oh, wait. Dude, are you talking about the apps on your phone? Those are terrible. And I know that's like, again, I'm the scam guy, right? But I mean, I think you get the same look on their face when you tell me about apps on someone's phones that can track this stuff. Better than this? Are you freaking mad? Are you whacked out of your mind? You think an app is going to be better than this stuff? I just ever so strongly disagree with that, and feel free to complain about that. But it's almost like you look at Zillow. Hey, well, I checked up stuff on Zillow when you're talking to a real estate agent, and it might give you a ballpark number, but like it's not the same as looking at comps in the area. And then same thing with like WebMD. You know, everyone, you look up anything, and if you go down the rabbit hole far enough, you have cancer somewhere. So let's at some point you do have to trust the pros at some point, but then again, some of them are certainly scams. Here's another one. It's just that I've never heard of anyone dying from sleep apnea. We live in a millennia. We lived a millennia without CPAP machines, and people weren't just dropping dead in their sleep because they randomly stop breathing. Well, let me sadden everyone with the story of Reggie White. Let's look at this. What caused Reggie White's death? Well, let's see. Cardiac and pulmonary sarcoidosis, which White had lived for years. It also stated that sleep apnea, with which White had been diagnosed, may have contributed to his death. So do people really die of sleep apnea or complications from sleep apnea? Let's agree on this. It certainly hastens death and other problems that make your life an absolute living hell and miserable. So for example, myself, I have high blood pressure. When I am on CPAP, my blood pressure goes down. When I am not on CPAP, my blood pressure goes up. A lot of other people have that same thing. And there are a host of problems that arise if you're not being treated for sleep disordered breathing. Sleep disordered breathing, when you're sleeping, consider you're healing. And if you're not healing at night, all kinds of crap goes bad. It's not going to be the same for everyone, but any problems you have are certainly going to be heightened or even caused by a lack of proper sleep. Now we can look at other things around sleep disorder breathing that are scams. There's plenty of stuff within the field that are scams. My YouTube channel is actually meant for helping people avoid that, but there's tons of products that are scams. You know what's interesting is things get a bad name sometimes. Like I actually think mandibular advancement devices work really well for treating obstructive sleep apnea, but not in everyone. So you can't just blanketly say like, just because a mandibular advancement device worked for you, it's going to work for everybody, because it doesn't. But it works really well for some people. It just happens to be such a small part of the population that I personally don't do a lot of videos on it. There's not a lot of excitement around it anyway. You pop a device in, it pulls your jaw forward, and either it jacks up your TMJ or it doesn't. And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't resolve the obstructive sleep apnea by pulling your jaw forward. But if your tongue falling back and your jaw falling back in your airway is the problem, then it has a high likelihood or a higher likelihood of fixing it, so long as it doesn't mess up your temporal mandibular joint. Now, what about things like Inspire? I just personally haven't heard a lot of good things about Inspire. I hear a lot of horror stories. The people that say, hey, it worked for me, do not want to be interviewed. The few people that are not like completely negative about it do not want to be interviewed about it, but they say, you know what, my CPAP actually just works a little better, so I just use it. Still have it implanted, just don't use it. So when it comes down to wearing a PAP device or having something implanted into you, yeah, I'm certainly biased to CPAP. Non-surgical option that works really well for a much higher percentage of people, yeah, sign me up. I'm all for that. Oral appliance, if it happens to work for you, great, go for it. If you have something like the Velu mount, I just did a video on that semi-recently that holds up your soft palate. If your soft palate's falling in your airway and causing you to wake up, absolutely use that. If you want to complain about the system and the cost, sure, but you also can't complain that people aren't being paid enough. Did you know that most of a cost of a sleep test is going to be labor? You have people that are highly trained that are making like 40 to 50 bucks an hour. Of course it's going to be costly. You're there for like 12 hours. Yes, they have 2 patients, but it's going to cost some money. You also have the equipment. The equipment's extremely expensive. You have all kinds of disposables. You have to take that stuff into account. However, a lot of that overhead drops if you do a home sleep test, and that's where they get you with volume. So you have all kinds of different home sleep tests. You have a type 3, which is a complete crapper test, or you have a type 2, which is the kind that I do. It's a lot better, but now you have more disposable. You have more time that's involved in it. So it's going to cost more. So if you don't have a good study, depending on where you have it, it can seem like a scam. I totally get it. Let's do some more self-serving stuff. The reason I offer only a type 2 study is, to me, it is the best blend of all worlds. You're at home, you're in as comfortable as an environment as you can be. Yeah, you're gonna have all these electrodes on. There's really no way of avoiding that. But with all these electrodes on, you get a very high quality sleep lab study quality for a much lower price in the comfort of your own home. Type 3, plenty of false positives. Now with a type 3, actually, if you're not really aware of it, basically all you get is this line right here, the flow channel, the blood oximetry, and then you get like 1 thoracic effort. And then sometimes you'll even get like the position. That's all you get with it though. So you get a lot of false positives, a lot of false negatives. And so when you have a false positive or false negative and they suspect it, they send you in for a sleep study. And so you're like, scam! And for good reason, I get it. But what they're doing is they're trying to save money. They want you to do a home sleep study, and they want you to have moderate to severe sleep apnea, because that puts you into a category where it's much less likely to be fooled. Then they send you home on an auto CPAP, which saves them money because there's really no follow-up. But it's crap. And I can show you it's crap because my father has this data here, Oscar. He was sent home on a pressure that was hella low. So I'm still working with my dad. I'm going to do a video on it later. But look at this. I got him a bi-level because of CPAP. I was like, dude, your CPAP is not working. This is actually better. And you can actually see the collapse of the airway and the gasping awake right there. So my dad is better off now than he was back in the day. So I have him staying on his side. You can see when he's on his side, he actually looks closer to okay. But anyway, I digress. By the way, this is free. Oscar, free, not a scam. All right, I'm rambling. What is the takeaway of all this? Is sleep apnea a scam? Absolutely not. It's a real thing. It happens. It'll jack up your life. Do you need to treat it? Absolutely. How are you going to treat it? That's where the scam comes in. So insurance companies, scammy. Some places selling CPAP equipment, scammy. Medicare reimbursement, scammy as hell. All other insurances, overcharging, scammy. Sleep labs that charge way too much from insurance companies, sometimes scammy. So you have all these little things in place that are scammy, and so it gets a bad name. But there's ways to avoid that. Self-serving again. Watch my video. Subscribe to my channel. Like the video. Give it a thumbs up. So back to being on point. There's a lot of things within the sleep medicine field that in fact are scammy. There are certainly ways to get around them, and I certainly understand why there is the feeling that the sleep disordered breathing, sleep medicine is a scam as a whole. But let me assure you, as someone who works in the field and would be benefiting from this very scam, I'm actually going to go the opposite. My whole business succeeds because doctors are so crap at following their patients and getting to a point where they are doing well with their PAP therapy. They're so bad at their job that they keep me in business. I kid you not. Literally everyone that signs up for my service, and there's a lot of people that come through doing my PAP analysis, and what I do essentially is I look at people's Oscar and I say, hey dude, you need to increase your pressure, you need to decrease your pressure, you need to do this, you need to fix your leaks, you need to change to a different mode of therapy, you need a different mask, you're hyperventilating, you're hypoventilating. There's all kinds of different things that it can be. But their doctor looking at this little number here and saying like, hey, you're doing great, keep it up, sport, and slapping you on the ass on the way out to pay your bill, like that's not real helpful. So them doing that actually keeps me in business. So I actually, maybe I appreciate the scam a little more than I should, because if they would actually get their shit together, I'm sorry I cursed. If they're to get their stuff together, their shitty stuff together, I wouldn't be in business, but I am. So I'll continue helping you guys. axgsleepdiagnostics.com. Get your PAP supplies at cpapsupplies.com. Don't forget to use discount code LankySpring. You can save 25%. And other than that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you watching my semi-rant. Bye. Clean your stinky mask with some Mask Bright, available at Amazon. And time for an extra thick thanks, buddy, to my top-level supporters, Doug Toombs, Jason Georgiades, Patricia Espelong, Stuart Hetherington, Alan Liu, Edward Steiner, and I'd like to say thank you also to these people, as well as those other people. Up the ante, you get a shout-out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Barely even on screen, but still appreciate the support.